board, pastoral leadership, and future ministerial search committee. Doug will begin by describing the first of those signposts, how we recommend beginning the work of the Center for Spiritual Formation.
So the Center for Spiritual Formation remains one of the clearest and most strongly affirmed ideas to emerge from the process. We imagine a ministry that creates opportunities for learning, spiritual practice, and honest conversation. The center should be more than a collection of programs. It should help people listen more deeply to God, to one another, and to what is happening in the wider community. We also recognize that this is a significant undertaking. UniPlace is entering a pastoral transition, adjusting to a new space and preparing for a future ministerial search. We do not want to move so quickly that we exhaust the congregation. We are therefore recommending the gradual pilot process. During fall 2026, UniPlace would sponsor a small number of one-time public offerings. These would be presented simply as UniPlace programs. We would not yet advertise them as a formal launch of the Center for Spiritual Formation. Possible topics include Wild Church, sponsored by Deb Reardons, Discernment and Listening for God, sponsored by Barb Horsch, Rethinking Faith and Ex-Evangelical Experiences, supported by Brent Budd. The purpose of these pilot offerings is to keep the momentum of New Beginnings moving forward by putting ideas into action while remaining realistic about our current capacity during a significant season of transition. They will help us learn what connects with people and what UniPlace can sustain before developing a larger continuing structure. With our new first-floor office space at the University YMCA, this will likely serve as the primary home for much of this work. UniPlace has leased this space through June 30, 2027. It gives us a visible, accessible place near the university where people can gather for conversation, learning, prayer, and community. After the fall pilots, we will build on what we learn by expanding some offerings into short series during the spring of 2027 and adding new series in the fall of 2027 is our target for the full public launch of the Center for Spiritual Formation, or whatever name is ultimately chosen. That will be the moment for the bells and whistles with a robust schedule of enriching programs and inviting publicity that introduces the center to our wider community. This approach allows us to keep moving while also being responsible. It gives people opportunities to participate now, but it does not ask the congregation to build the center during this already demanding season. So Jess will now speak about how we hope to care for the congregation and its ministries during the transition.
One concern throughout our conversations has been that UniPlace might treat the transition period as a time when we simply hold our breath and wait for the new ministers to arrive. And we do not believe this should be a season of dormancy. It should be a period in which UniPlace continues worshiping, serving, and caring for one another. At the same time, we do need to be realistic about our energy and about the additional responsibilities that will come with Chris's retirement. The New Beginnings team is recommending several priorities for this transition period. First, we want to create more opportunities for low-pressure social connection. So much of our recent time together has involved meetings, decisions, and difficult questions. Those conversations are necessary, but they cannot be our only way of being together. This could include returning to occasional meals after worship while also offering activities that are not centered always on food, such as walks, outdoor gatherings, or other informal opportunities to spend time together. And second, UniPlace needs additional administrative and ministry support. The church has begun searching for an office administrator who would work approximately 16 hours each week. The administrative position has changed now that UniPlace no longer maintains its former building and is operating from a more public-facing office in the YMCA. We are exploring whether the person hired for that role might also provide some coordination for the community meal. If one person's not the right fit for both responsibilities, additional meal support could be provided separately. But the goal there is to make sure routine administration and the food ministry coordination don't always fall on Isaac. And third, we need to strengthen our volunteer teams. The community meal has several areas where one or two people currently hold most of the knowledge, and we want experienced volunteers to begin training additional people so that each area has leaders and backups. And that's not only about filling volunteer slots, it's about sharing ownership of the ministry and making it more sustainable. And the same principle applies throughout our congregational life. Worship, music, pastoral care, community events, Quad Day, Pride Fest, and other commitments will require shared leadership. Finally, we want to give careful attention to worship during the transition, particularly as we approach Advent. Worship and choir were specifically named in the congregational feedback as vital parts of the UniPlace, our identity. We also heard the need to continue caring for shut-ins, current members, and those who may not want to participate in our newer programs. So a renewed worship team could help plan for Advent and the months following Chris's retirement. So the feedback sheet today, we want to ask you what parts of worship and congregational life are most important to you during this period, and also how you might want to participate. We can't preserve every practice as it's been, but we can be intentional about what gives life to this congregation and what support will be required to continue it. So Bruce will now explain how this work will continue after our Little New Beginnings team concludes.
Okay, just in case you're tired of listening to us, and especially me, this will be our final planned report from the current New Beginnings team. But it's not the end of the direction that has emerged. The team's work was to listen to the congregation, study our current reality, name a faithful direction, and create signposts for the next phase. The congregation participated in house groups and shared honestly about UniPlace's strengths, fatigue, hopes, and concern. The 21-day challenge moved our discernment into concrete action through the summer blessing bags and UniPlace's support for See You at Home. We recognize the need for transitional pastoral leadership. We have invited written feedback, created a record of the congregation's support, concerns, and unanswered questions. We have now developed a phased approach for beginning spiritual formation programming while protecting the congregation from taking on too much too quickly. The next stage will require responsibility to be shared among several groups. The board will continue providing oversight, making financial and governance decisions, and helping establish the structures needed for transition. The pastoral leadership will coordinate worship, care, partnerships, the fall pilot programs, and the daily life of the congregation. Smaller teams may be formed for particular areas such as worship, social gatherings, the community meal, or individual spiritual formation programs. Members of the New Beginning team may continue contributing to particular projects. Suzanne, who is our trained New Beginnings leader and trained our house group leaders, will consider serving as a coach and a resource. Isaac will continue meeting with her and other congregational leaders as can be included in these meetings when helpful. The major next step for the congregation will be forming a ministerial search committee. The board will oversee this process, and our new moderator, Jim Tresker, is already at work to build this committee. Our ultimate goal is to have our ministerial leadership in place by the beginning of 2027. Once formed, the Ministerial Search Committee will receive reports, written feedback, and other information gathered during New Beginnings. This work will give the committee a strong foundation of understanding of UniPlace's identity, priorities, hopes, and concern, as it discerns the kind of leaders our congregation needs. The feedback suggests that future leaders should be able to support worship and pastoral care, guide spiritual formation, develop programs, work collaboratively, build community partnerships, and provide organizational follow-through. They should be grounded in the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, comfortable with the ecumenical cooperation, and able to work within clear structures of responsibility, accountability, and evaluation. Isaac will now close our invitation for feedback.
So just like last time, we had a sheet that you could fill out. This time it is stapled on, though. You're welcome to rip that sheet out so that you can take it home or take the other parts home with you. But that sheet for feedback has some questions on it that we welcome you to answer those questions if you'd like, or feel free to go full free form and fill out whatever sort of questions that you think you have, would like to be answered, or just concerns that you would like to raise before us. When you're finished with those, please come and put them up here on the pulpit, and I will take them from there. If you'd like to mull this over a little bit more and sit with it, absolutely feel free to email me, isaac@uniplace.org, with any of that feedback, and you can send that to me just about whenever. The New Beginnings team does not have another meeting on the calendar, so that's not like last time where I was hoping that we would get feedback by Tuesday, as that feedback can go ongoing for any time into the future from there. Thank you all. That is the end of our New Beginnings report. You are welcome to sit here and write anything. Yes, Elizabeth? Can you send that form through email so those of us that didn't get one? Absolutely. I will send it and connect with me afterwards, and I'll send it directly to you, and then we'll also put it in the Wednesday update. If any of you do have an extra form, we ran out. Thank you all for showing up in droves today. We appreciate that so much. Thank you all. Thank you all. A big thank you for your vote as me as your new transitional minister. It means so much to me. I appreciate you all so much. Yes, Marla. Quick question. Yes. A lot of these events that are coming up, like the community dinner on Wednesday, Pride Fest, Yeah. Quad Day, can we get like a calendar like we did last year? Indeed. Absolutely. We'll do. We will do a wonderful calendar. I have an idea on how to do that technologically even better than last year. Wonderful. Thank you all.